The X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, the X-Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the X-Zone on the Talkstar Radio Network, X-Zone Broadcast Network, UK High Definition Radio, Euro High Definition Radio, Star Cable, and X-Zone TV. If you'd like to send us an email, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, on MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com, and our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. My guest this hour, X-Zone Nation, is shaman and author of Spirit Flight, Claim Your Joy and Your Wealth Will Follow, Miss Bonnie Macdade. And Bonnie is a shaman who identifies emotions, toxins, and foods that block the flow of subtle energies causing illness and emotional distress. Using gentle, simple methods to restore balance, she is effective in treating everything from, depression to allergies. Reverend Macdade believes that reactive responses can negatively impact our autoimmune system. She uses a variety of treatment modalities to help her clients heal and release unwanted energies and toxins. Vibrational healing work provides balance and protective care to people of all ages and backgrounds. This modality is guided by intuition. It's dedicated to correcting imbalances from within your system while keeping your body and spirit running at top performance. And Bonnie is also a natural-born psychic who trained with such masters as Elizabeth Joyce. Funny, she was on with us the hour before. And Derek Pearl. She has seen spirits and picked up intuitive information all of her life. And Bonnie is a vibrational energy worker, a healer who reads a person's energy to get to the root of health issues. Vice President of Bucks County Metaphysical Association, she holds regular classes and workshops teaching people how to access their own intuitive skills for a fuller, more joyful life. Her website, www.blossomspring.com. And Bonnie Macdade, welcome back to the X-Zone. How are you?
I'm wonderful, Rob. Thank you so much for having me back.
It's always a great pleasure talking to you. And for those listeners who may have joined us since you had last been on the show, what is a shaman?
A shaman can be defined as someone who sees in the dark, psychically and energetically. This encompasses the entire mind, body, and spirit aspects of health. I'm actually a nationally board-certified holistic practitioner and an ordained minister. So the way I look at it is all these things fit under the same umbrella. And so if you were to come and see me in my office, I would draw on all of these different things to get to the root of your issue.
How long does it take for you, once you have someone in your office and you do, I guess, an assessment, for you to actually hone in on what the problem is, Bonnie?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Sometimes I get it right away. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'll get it before the client actually makes it to my office. And other times, people carry layers of things in their energy, and I have to go through it all. So I'll get there. But it depends on the case. It's all very individual.
When did you first realize that this is what you wanted to do, that you wanted to help people?
Oh, boy, you're going to laugh. You're going to love this answer. I had no idea that I could. I didn't believe that it was something I would ever do. It hadn't occurred to me. But when I first met Elizabeth Joyce, she took one look at me and said, that's what you're going to do.
Yeah, she has.
She knew right off the top.
Yeah, she has that effect on people, doesn't she?
Yes, she does.
All right, you and I have got to You and I have got to take our commercial break. Bonnie, please stand by. Bonnie McDade is our special guest. She is a shaman, author, and ordained minister. Her website is www.blossomspring.com. And Bonnie and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break as the X Zone continues with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.
Take a step back in time and discover old Florida cuisine at Marsh Landing Restaurant in Fellsmere. Enjoy delicacies such as frog legs, gator tail, catfish, and swamp cabbage, or enjoy the more traditional cuisine like hand-cut Angus steaks, ribs, and seafood. Join us for breakfast with a southern flair featuring sweet potato pancakes, biscuits and gravy, and much more. Planning a party? Marsh Landing's private dining room can accommodate groups from 8 to 80 people. While you're visiting, enjoy the historic pictures, artifacts, and stories that line the walls. Marsh Landing is truly a unique experience. Marsh Landing Restaurant, 44 North Broadway in historic Fellsmere, or visit marshlandingrestaurant.com. Marsh Landing, Old Florida cuisine at its best. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X Zone broadcast network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
We all desire health, happiness, and fulfillment, but often get in our own way. Repeated patterns that leave us out of control can keep us feeling powerless, frustrated, and unable to move forward in spite of our best efforts. Unconscious patterning disconnects us from our gifts, often destroying the very thing we seek. But there is an answer. We can take charge of our destiny and heal the trauma of our history. Shamanism is an effective ancient modality that can reconnect us with our true selves, empower the creation of our dreams, and return us to health and balance. Cody Alexander is a certified shamanic practitioner and teacher with 11 years experience. Email healingpathways33@gmail.com or visit codyalexander.net to schedule a long-distance shamanic session today.
Bonnie McDade is my special guest. X Zone Nation, www.blossomspring.com. Bonnie, how would you describe energy healing?
Energy healing is something that's actually been used for centuries. I don't think you can go back into recorded history and not find some form of energy healing. Basically, it's it's highly intuitive. When any two life forms come together, there is a charge between the two of them. There's a charge between every cell in your body. That is the energy. So when you're working with that energy, it's like there's a force that comes through me when I'm doing it myself. And it helps me to communicate with my client's energy field. I can do very much like acupuncture or acupressure. I work with those energy meridians to release blocks and to restore the natural flow of a person's natural energy field.
Now,
does that sound good?
when we talk about the energy field, are we talking about the aura?
We're talking about the aura. We're talking about levels above the aura, which is your blessed higher self. And because my background really is in physical health, herbs, vitamins, nutrition, my intuition reaches down to the body as well. I can feel when something is out of alignment with your body chemistry. For instance, I had someone recently who I was able to tell they really were lacking in their essential fatty acids. It was just something that I picked up. And through muscle testing, we were able to discern exactly how much this person needed and how often. So, and that's all energy.
What was it like the first time that you realized that you could actually help people just by working with their energy? And basically, I would imagine it's like putting everything back in alignment?
That's what the purpose is, yes, to try and put everything back into alignment. But I got to tell you, the first time that I had any experience with that, it was as if I was pretending. It didn't feel like it was real. It was almost like I was imagining what was happening, and it was so simple. It happened so easily that it made it very difficult for me to believe that it was real. I think a lot of times we want things to be difficult, so we think they have to be, especially if they're going to be so spectacular. And this is very spectacular.
What's the difference, Bonnie, between energy healing and vibrational healing? Because wouldn't the energy also be set at certain vibrational rates?
Yes, that's the basis of most energy healing modalities. When you look at, say, Reiki or the Reconnection or IET, there's basically a formula. You do this and you do that and you do the other thing, and it can be taught to big auditoriums full of people. Those modalities work very well, but they're generalized. Okay? Vibrational healing is something that's very new to the planet, and it's been coming through spirit to both myself and Elizabeth Joyce. We've been getting messages from archangels, and what's really happening is the energy is working through us. It's not something that you can say, this is what you do, then you do that next, and then you do this, and it's done. It's highly intuitive. It works as very, very individual for each person.
Can anyone learn how to do this, or does it require special skills?
Well, I think it does require special skills. I think you need to be tuned into the energy so that you can pick up the messages that you receive through spirit. However, this is so powerful. It's really been amazing to watch people who are just drawn to it. People are coming to our vibrational healing workshops, and they're not only being healed by the energy, but they're learning how to work with it themselves. So it's not something that I would say put out a commercial for, because that's not how it works. You can't draw people in. People are drawn to it instead. You understand?
Yeah, I do understand. Yeah. Why do you think, here we are in the year 2010, people are turning back to holistic medicine instead of going back to westernized medicine? You know, people are seeing that they're walking away from their doctors and going to holistic practitioners and doctors of natural medicine these days.
Right. Well, allopathic medicine has its place. It definitely does. There are things that we need to go to the doctor for. Let's say you're in a car accident. Let's say you have had a heart attack. You call 911. You go to the hospital. And when the bone is mended, or when the doctor has finished putting the pieces together so that you can heal surgically or with medicine or whatever modality that they have at their hands, that's really where their expertise ends. Now, you can have a car accident and you can break a leg, and that energy will be disturbed even once the bone heals. And that can manifest itself in your emotional life. You can become depressed and worried over things that you don't understand because this energy is just lying stagnant in your body. So once the doctor has done his job, you really need to find someone who can help you work out whatever the cause of the accident was or the heart attack was, and get to the root of that issue and clear it from your energy field.
So would you say that let me see if I can encapsulate this. All right, so that the doctor who sets your limb doesn't set your spiritual problems. It's a two-part.
Right.
It's a two-part repair session.
Right. Or sometimes 3 parts.
Wow.
What happens is the doctor's expertise is in creating the conditions for the physical body to heal. He doesn't sit and have a heart-to-heart with you about what happened. That's psychology. And he doesn't get into the energy either, because that's the vibrational healing end. So all 3 of these things are very important for a well-balanced human being. Right?
Yeah, all right. Now, if you're balanced vibrationally, and if you're balanced, your energy levels are balanced, does this help prevent illness? Does it help prevent disease?
It absolutely does, yes. And through daily meditation and keeping your vibrational levels high, you will effectively keep disease off the body. In fact, normal, healthy human beings have a vibratory rate of 62 to 68 megahertz. Cold symptoms will begin to appear at about 58 megahertz, 57 megahertz, and then you'll get things like cancer when your levels drop to about 42 megahertz. So it's very important to keep your vibratory rate high. And if you have moments, and we all do, where you get knocked off by a traumatic experience, then and you're going to have trouble maintaining your own vibratory rate, then you want to seek someone like Elizabeth or myself who can help you to get back on track.
Is there any piece of equipment that a person can purchase that would generate this vibrational rate, or let's call it a spiritual force field in a specific area, so that they would be protected against these diseases or these occurrences from happening if their body vibrational rate decreased?
Not that I'm aware of. I know that there are things that you can use to measure your magnetic field and your energetic field, things that you use like on those ghost hunting shows that will read your energy, and they'll show you how high your vibratory rate is. But I believe this is all part of the divine plan. You're not supposed to go to something outside of the oneness of the human family for something like that. We're all connected, and I believe it's our responsibility to maintain each other. And so it takes one to be able to help another.
All right, so give me an example of how this would be detrimental if someone was to go outside and tamper with their vibrational field or their electrical field or their energy fields.
Well, I can tell you that in my personal experience, when you have a trauma in your life, you lose a loved one suddenly, that will tamper with your vibratory rate. This is something that you can feel, it's palpable, you know it, you can imagine right now. If I say to you that you have experienced a death in your family, you know that the energy is just going to drop to your feet. You can feel it. That's very, very real. We all know what that feels like. And you have to grieve, yes. You have to go through the process, yes. But you have to get to the other end of the process. You've got to heal. You've got to raise that rate back up again, because I've seen it before where I had a client who lost her mother very suddenly, and she's been depressed for 13 years. She misses her mother every day. And so my job with her is to try to get her to understand that she needs to continue living. That's first of all, to deal with her emotional state of mind, and then to work on her vibratory rate and help her to raise it through meditation and guided meditation with Elizabeth Joyce's wonderful chakra CD.
All right, stand by. You and I have to take a commercial break, Bonnie. Bonnie McDade is our special guest, www.blossomspring.com. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone, a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard, Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern on the Talkstar Radio Network, X Zone Broadcast Network, UK High Definition Radio, Euro High Definition Radio, Star Cable, and X-Zone TV. I'll be back on the other side of this break as we continue here in the X-Zone from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
There's a legend shared by many indigenous cultures of a time when the nations were cast to the four corners of the world. Each nation was given a body of sacred knowledge that held a different portion of the truth to preserve. True reality could not be known until all the nations reunited, combining the information. If a single one was missing, the world could not be reborn and darkness would prevail. The Science of Magic Radio is dedicated to reuniting the sacred knowledge. With the understanding, none of us has all the answers, but together we can open new perceptions and possibilities. Through our combined vision, the world can be reborn into a place where darkness no longer prevails. Join me, Gwilda Wiyaka, and the Science of Magic daily on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, xzbn.net, or visit us at thescienceofmagic.net.
Bonnie Macdade is our special guest of this hour. Exonation, www.blossomspring.com. And Bonnie, it's what are your thoughts on October's breast cancer awareness campaign?
Well, I think that it's very well-meaning, very well-planned idea.
But
of course, the world would like to be rid of such terrible things. Mm-hmm. But as we all are learning, words are energy, and to have it constantly drummed into our psyches that breast cancer is a problem. And everywhere you look, you see pink ribbons on every product in the supermarket. It's on the television, it's on the internet, it's everywhere. It's almost like casting a mass curse on society. When you're told that this is something that's a very big problem, you start to think about it.
But isn't that a fact that breast cancer is a very big problem?
Breast cancer is a very big problem, and I can explain to you why it is. Because people don't understand the way energy works, number one. Number two, it's because we've all succumbed to the idea that it's in our genes, when if you simply look back in your own family, 2, 3 generations, no one had breast cancer. This is something that's fairly new. So what we're inheriting from our mother and from possibly our grandmother is her coping skills. We are learning how to deal with the world the way our mothers dealt with the world. And we're also learning how to eat the way that our mothers ate. So if our mother had breast cancer, it's a big possibility that we will if we're repeating her patterns. But it's completely in our hands whether or not we're going to be well. In fact, I've got the perfect example, and I use this in my book, Spirit Flight. My 2 grandmothers were both born the same year. They both lived and grew up in the same town. They lived blocks away from each other. My maternal grandmother was never happy. She was always in a bad mood. She was the first person on her block to have a microwave. She had instant mashed potatoes in her cupboard and candy on her coffee table. She got breast cancer in the 70s. She went into remission, but then it returned again in her bones, and she died at a very early age. She was around 75 or so. My father's mother, however, is how I became interested in the holistic lifestyle myself. She always has real food in her house, nothing from a package. It's all, if you can grow it or pick it or shoot it, okay? Real food. Something that you could have eaten, say, 100 years ago. That's what you'll find in her house.
So you won't find any prepared canned foods in her house. You won't find any TV dinners. You won't find any frozen foods that have been prepared.
Never. And her kitchen table is consumed with vitamin bottles because you never know. She's got a little bit of everything. And she helps her neighbors. So people come over, she's got just what you need. She's the neighborhood medicine lady. And I can remember, as far back as I can remember, whenever I went to her house, you couldn't make it through the front door, 2 feet into the front door, without her smothering us with kisses and love, because that was her personality. That's who she is. And right now, she's 90 years old. She just turned 90 in April.
God bless her.
She gets on the bus from central New Jersey and takes the bus to Manhattan whenever she feels like it. She's unstoppable. And about 2 or 3 years ago, she had broken her ankle stepping off the bus a little bit funny. And, of course, the doctors were very concerned about her age. And they said, well, in 6 weeks when you come back, we'll change the cast. We'll do another x-ray, and we'll go from there. Well, don't you know, she showed up there in 6 weeks. The cast was removed, and she had healed completely. They told her she healed like a 20-year-old. And she wasn't surprised. She knew. So those are the differences. Now, I'm not going to worry about breast cancer for myself, even though my grandmother had it, because I saw the conditions that set her up for that illness. And that's what that's what I teach my clients. That's the message that I am putting in my book, Spirit Flight.
All right, but let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Bonnie. What happens to someone who already has breast cancer? How can a natural holistic healer like yourself help them?
Well, anyone who has cancer now, diabetes, heart disease, any kind of chronic issue, can raise their vibration and they can overcome it. Absolutely. We'll take a look at their diet. We'll take a look at their lifestyle. We'll take a look at who they're living with and what the dynamics are at work. We'll look at absolutely everything to get to the root of the issue, because everything starts with in your energy field. We get it out of your energy field, and then it will leave your physical body as well.
Let me play the devil's advocate here for a moment.
Sure.
Why is not this system, this vibrational and energy healing, done in medical centers where people are dying each and every day of cancer and other life-threatening diseases?
Well, for the longest time, about 150 years or so, the AMA, the American Medical Association, has ruled supreme. They've dictated what was real and what was phooey. And people are coming around now. They're demanding this. And so now more and more, I know in my local hospital, which we're right outside of Philadelphia, a major city in this country, you can have a Reiki practitioner in your OR when you're undergoing surgery. Your Reiki practitioner will stand right next to the surgeon. So people are getting the feeling, they're understanding more and more.
How would a Reiki practitioner work with a surgeon? Like, what would a Reiki practitioner do during your operation?
Hold the energy. Make sure that the room is held. When I do a class, when I have a room full of people for a vibrational healing workshop, I don't leave the room. In the middle of a meditation, when there's work going on in the room, I'm holding that energy in the room. I'm protecting every person in there. And it's something palpable. I feel it coming through me. I can feel the eggshell wall around the situation that I set up. So that's what's going on in that OR. You've got someone in there who's making sure that mistakes aren't going to happen. We've got it. And everybody's calm and everybody's relaxed. You might even have some nice vibrational, high vibration type music playing, something that keeps everybody on the same page. Right?
Are you finding more and more medical practitioners are finding it easier to work with holistic healers and doctors of natural medicine?
I don't know if they're finding it easier, but they're finding it necessary because their clients are asking. Their patients are coming in and they're saying, well, what do you think about that? And 10 years ago, 15 years ago, they may have laughed in your face and said, that's a bunch of hooey. Here's a script. Take this to the drugstore. But it's becoming so prevalent now that they can't ignore it anymore. They can't turn their backs on it. And so RMs are being trained in aromatherapy. And regular general practitioners are sending their patients to me when they know that they've reached their limit in experience.
But where does the placebo effect take over? Like, let's say the medical doctor figures, all right, you know what? There's nothing I can do because there's nothing physically wrong with this person. It's an issue in their mind. They believe they have this condition. So where does the placebo effect take over, or the spiritual or holistic healing take over?
Well, I love that you called it a placebo effect because that's actually very much in my realm, if you will. When someone believes that something is going to work for them, that is very powerful.
Sure
that is energy. That's part of what I do. I give people affirmations, written affirmations, something that they can take home and post all over their house or on the dashboard in their car to remind them how powerful they are, that they are not going to succumb to whatever the illness of the week is. And right now we're in the fall. So television commercials are already telling us that we're all going to catch the flu if we don't rush right down and get our flu shot or, cough medicine or you name it. So my job is to tell my clients that's not so, and here's why. So you're going to talk yourself out of it.
Are we saying that some of these television commercials act like negative affirmations?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. If I'm selling a product on television for XYZ medication,
okay,
I'm going to tell you about what a terrible ailment that is and that you really, really need to be protected. That's my job. I want you to need my medicine. So I think that they know exactly what they're doing.
What kind of illnesses, what kind of diseases have you cured?
Let's see. That's very tricky. You can't say that I've cured anything because I'm more of the
All right, let
conflict.
me ask you this question in a much more politically correct way. What types of conditions do you treat?
Okay, I treat anyone with anything, but I do have a wonderful story which directly relates. I had a woman come in probably a year or so ago, and my thing is I'll tell my client to come in and I'll read your energy. I put them on my table, and then we'll talk after. So don't tell me why you came. I don't want to know what's going on until after I have had a chance to look and see for myself. This woman came in and I found congestion in the energy around her throat, which I immediately was drawn to, and I cleared the energy and grounded her energy completely, and it was gone. So when she came out of it and we discussed what I found, she started to cry. She said, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, and I'm supposed to go to the hospital in 4 days to have my thyroid removed. And all I could say to her was, I felt it, I found it, and I removed the energy. And then we moved on to other things, what her vitamins she was taking, what her diet was like. 2 days passed. She called me on the phone, ebullient, just exuberant. She said, I went to the hospital for my preoperative testing. They did x-rays and they took blood like usual, and it was gone. They couldn't find it. It was gone.
Just
So
like that.
that's not something that I did. I didn't go in and cure her cancer, but I set up the conditions for the energy to take place. I removed the blockages in her flow, in her natural flow of energy, and allowed that to take place.
All right, so what happened with this lady? Did she go back to the doctors? Did they re-examine her, and did they find that her thyroids were all right and she didn't have to have the operation?
That's exactly right, yes. And I still work with her, and she has sent her family members to me, and she's fine. That issue is gone from her life. Yes. And the only cases where something like that really doesn't happen is in cases of karma. That's something that's written in stone. You can't change it. If it is it's in your plan, if it's in your karma to have whatever illness it is you have, there really isn't anything you can do to change that. I mean, we all know people who are depressed and sick, and we know some people too who are very happy and who do everything in their power to get well, and it just doesn't seem to happen for them. And so that would be the only instance. Other than that, you raise your vibratory rate, and the illness can't live there.
Tell me, what part of life what part of illness does stress play?
That's where it all begins. I think that's the first step. When you take someone who is perfectly healthy, who has a regular meditation practice, who is in fantastic shape, and then you pile on them a death, a divorce, the way things are going right now with the economy, let's say a loss of a job, a loss of a home, these are traumatic, heavy things to deal with. So that's stress. So even in a perfectly healthy person with all this stress, you're going to find something from a simple cold to high blood pressure, to heart issues, to extreme anxiety. So you really need to get someone on your side who can help you to straighten out these wrinkles in your life and help you to see the bigger picture.
Bonnie, stand by. You and I have to take our final break. Interesting. Very interesting hour. When we come back, Bonnie, I'd like to ask you how some of our listeners who may be under so much stress that they're near their breaking point, how they can actually learn to cope and turn everything around. Bonnie Macdade is our special guest. Exonation, www.blossomspring.com. That's www.blossomspring.com. This is the X Zone. My name is Rob McConnell, and we're coming to you from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Bonnie Macdade and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break. Don't go away.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
19th Sergeant Central. 19th Sergeant check. Officers on the scene.
Hi, I'm Larry Lawson, host of Paranormal Stakeout. With over 36 years in law enforcement, I have learned a few things. The most important is the proper gathering and preservation of evidence is vital to putting the bad guy behind bars. It's no different in the world of paranormal investigation. Whether it's the search for the afterlife, cryptozoology, UFOs, and extraterrestrials, how we gather the evidence, preserve that evidence, and present it to a jury of our peers will make the ultimate difference in proving the existence of worlds and entities that are beyond our imagination. Join me, Larry Lawson, every week on Paranormal Stakeout when, along with my guests, we'll take a journey to prove with indisputable evidence what man has struggled to believe for centuries. Go to xzbn.net for the broadcast schedule and check me out at paranormalstakeout.com.
True healing must address 4 levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, for us to live joyful and productive lives. We tend to treat 3 of the 4, leaving the spiritual languishing. If you're tired of the same dysfunctional patterns cropping up in your life, Soul Balancing is for you. Trixie Phelps, owner and founder of Soul Balancing, is a naturally gifted energy healer trained in numerous esoteric forms, including shamanism. Trixie has created a powerful modality that safely and effectively clears your energetic field. A Soul Balancing session can remove interference, heal trauma, and restore your hope. Contact Trixie for a life-changing long-distance session today. www.soulbalancing.world.
Bonnie McDade is our special guest. www.blossomspring.com. And Bonnie's got a new book entitled Spirit Flight, Claim Your Joy and Your Wealth Will Follow. Once again, her website is www.blossomspring.com. First of all, Bonnie, thanks very much for joining us. Always a great pleasure talking to you. But as you pointed out, these are very trying times, highly stressful times. It's a lousy economy. People are losing their jobs. People are losing their homes. Mom and dads are not getting, they're not getting along, and it's certainly having a trickle effect on the family. Stress, number one cause. How can people turn stress around?
Well, I think it's very important to begin with something that you can control physically, something that you can hold in your hand and point to and say, I'm doing this to handle the problem. So I would start with diet. I want to look at what you're eating. I want to make sure that you're eating things that will keep your blood pressure level and it will keep you feeling good. So we're going to remove things like white bread and partially hydrogenated oils, and we're going to put in good things that will make you feel good: whole grains, fruit, vegetables, and lots of flavorful recipes too. Nothing that you have to go, oh, I don't want to eat that, right? You want to be happy. So we're going to make sure that you've got a list of things that you can control. You've got this in your hand, you know you're doing it, and that makes you feel good, knowing that you're on top of that physical part of your life. After that, we'll talk about the issues that are going on in your life so that we can help you get a handle on those too. We'll deal with each one individually. We'll set up an affirmation to go along with each issue so that will give you control over those things. And then to tie it all together, we'll do vibrational healing. I'll put you on my table, or you can come and do a vibrational healing sitting, where you just sit in a chair in a room full of other people, and we'll make sure your energy is grounded. We'll remove the issues from your energy field and restore the flow of your natural energy. So we're getting it from every direction. Mind, body, and spirit. That's right.
Bonnie, where can people get a copy of your newest book?
Well, it will be out in the winter. We're looking forward to January 1st, and it'll certainly be on Amazon.com. Past that, keep your eyes on my website because all of the information will be updated there.
All right, Bonnie, I want to thank you once again for joining us. Take care of yourself, and I look forward to the next time you and I meet here in the X Zone.
Thank you very much, Rob.
Bye-bye now. X Zone Nation, Bonnie McDade has been my guest this hour. Once again, her website is www.blossomspring.com. That's www.blossomspring.com. I'll be back on the other side of this news break at 6.5 minutes past as the X Zone continues with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our studios in beautiful Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. If you'd like to send an email, suggest a guest, or if you'd like to discuss a topic with me, my email address is xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. I'll be back on the other side of this news break. More of the X Zone, investigating the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology. Don't go away, X Zone Nation. We'll be right back.